Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Movie Minutemen podcast. But before we dive into today's movie, I wanted to let you know that we are always excited to get emails from you. So if you want to send us your thoughts or comments, please do so at the movieminutemenpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to leave us a rating and review, please do so. It's super helpful to get our show out there into the algorithm. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. And now, on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Movie Minutemen podcast. My name is Andrew, and with me is Wesley. Oh, see, we do that. We do that. We're out of practice. Okay,
we're out of practice, guys.
You know what? Let's just keep it in. Let's just keep rolling. Let's get through it.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, guys. Sorry, we haven't done this since August.
And then when we did that, we were in person, so
yep.
A little different than over the old computer, but thank God for technology that we can do this. But nevertheless, we're back. But as you can probably tell by the title of the episode, it's going to be a little different. We're not reviewing a certain movie, but we're going to talk about the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a thing that Wesley and I both love, as evident by our Marvel rewatch. But this was something we talked about when we were in person for the Shrek episode, and we thought would be a lot of fun, considering how many people love to hate on the MCU or just love to defend the MCU. It's either or. I feel like there's not really any middle ground in that. But today we just thought we would, talk about the MCU, because why not? Take a break from rewatching movies. And with one of the best Marvel movies recently just coming out in Deadpool and Wolverine, we thought, why not sit down and talk about how we feel the MCU has been since probably Endgame, I don't know, and then look ahead at what we have in store in these next few years. So, Wesley, why not take it away? Your thoughts on the current state of the MCU as it is, has been since Endgame, and, or not even since Endgame, you can just do this last year and then move into. Yeah, and then I'll share.
Sure. So, it's been a minute since that movie, 4 years to be exact, 2019, if I can recall.
Well, that's 5 years, 2019.
5 years, yes.
20, yeah.
My bad. I know that. I literally posted about that when it was the 5-year anniversary this year. Anyways, my mind right now. It's been a dark period for a while, for the state of Marvel, especially through COVID, when they really switched their gears into making shows. Those first few, like Loki and WandaVision, really hit different. And then you got She-Hulk that came out, and then Moon Knight was average. Some people liked it, some people didn't. And then the movies, they were just pushing quantity over quality, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit. But that was their view going into that time. And of course, during that time, they overworked a lot of people, and there were major changes up at top as well with, I think, Victoria Alonso, one of the producers, she left. Mm-hmm. She got fired or something like that. I forgot, but we talked about that a long time ago in one podcast, so I remember that. But, there was a few bright spots, though. We actually went to see Wakanda Forever together.
We did, yeah.
And I almost cried at the end there. Of course, it wasn't as good as the first one. Of course, first one is high in my book, but it was bittersweet, and I felt like that was a great remembrance of Chadwick, because he was one of my favorite actors, you know, in the MCU for forever. And yeah, he was just great, and I loved him so much. And that was like the first like person in entertainment that like died that I actually like basically cried. Like it was
Yeah.
he was one of my favorite actors. But yeah, so and then we got some mediocre one. I didn't like Quantumania or oh my gosh, the Marvels. We talked about that. We have differing opinions on that. I don't know if
We do have different opinions on the Marvels. No, I mean, I've only watched it the one time, so I can't say.
Me too. But
yeah,
when I walked out of the theater with the three people I saw, with me. So that's the other thing with the attendance averages. You know, of course, I don't live in a big, you know, I live in a small Midwest town, but these movies are not gaining much attraction. But there are event movies like, you know, a Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's what I like to, you know, talk about here, because this was the first time since that time, like Endgame, Infinity War, and all those other big movies like the Star Wars sequels, you know, this was the first time I saw my theater so packed. I went Thursday night and then I went Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon, it was bustling. The line was out the door. It was crazy. I was talking to the cashier and he was like, yeah, I haven't, you know, seen it this busy since then. He was like one of the workers all the way back. He's worked at AMC for a long time, and he was saying that as well. And I was like, I was so perplexed, literally. So, but you can tell though, that was a hit with audiences, and we'll get into our thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine soon, but yeah, I'll end my thoughts there. But well, other than that, I think out of the shows, all the shows that came out, I think Loki, the 2 seasons of Loki, those hold a special place in my heart. Tom Hiddleston is one of the best actors in the MCU, and that's that on my thoughts.
Yeah.
So
So you and I, it appears from just a surface level conversation right now, we disagree on the overall state of Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think for lack of a better word, the terribleness of it, the stuff coming out was over exaggerated a little bit. Yes, there are bad things like I 100% agree with you with Quantumania. That movie should never have been made, or at least given a better budget, because the CGI is terrible, the script is gosh awful, and it's just But I enjoyed the Marvels, like you said. That was one movie. It was not, you know, game changer. It was not a No Way Home or you know, any of those, but it was a fun movie. It was kind of a fresh, I don't want to say a smaller movie because it dealt with space, but like the stakes didn't feel quite as large in that one. Obviously Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was an amazing movie.
Yeah. I didn't talk about that. Yeah,
you didn't know. And it just feels like they kind of pushed out, like you said, a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff was done not to the greatness of previous things. But, you know, I enjoyed WandaVision. I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I enjoyed Loki. Black Widow is one that I didn't enjoy quite as much. But that one, you know, it got COVID affected it pretty much. They just kind of like threw that one out into theaters. Didn't do as great, you know. Shang-Chi, excuse me. That one, I'm just rewatching it now. And it is really good. Eternals, I never watched. I've been told by multiple people, I think you included, Wesley, to not watch it. Say, don't waste your time. Obviously, I will when we get to it in the rewatch, or I guess for me, it would be a first time watch. But Hawkeye is one that I really enjoyed too. I'm just going through a list here. Spider-Man No Way Home, phenomenal movie. Moon Knight is probably one of my top 3 favorite Disney Plus TV shows. I really enjoyed that one. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is iffy for me. You know, Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, again, I enjoyed it more than most people.
Yeah, we did.
But I understand there's faults in it. I do understand there's faults. Miss Marvel, another one I really enjoyed, the TV show. I Am Groot. I don't think I've watched the little shorts.
I did. Are
they good?
Shorts,
Are they fun?
Yeah. They were decent. Yeah, they were decent. Yeah. There's one with Rocket, I think, or something like that. He does a mission for Rocket or something. That was fun.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Is Bradley Cooper in it?
Right. I think so.
Is Bradley Cooper Rocket?
So.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure. But it's not like. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. What were you gonna say? Finish. Sorry.
I forgot if like he was actually. We just heard his voice, or if he was actually in it. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
She-Hulk is one that I think people enjoy to hate, and so they do hate it. I don't think it's quite that bad. Werewolf by Night is a phenomenal. Have you watched that? The
yes.
Yeah, it is. I can't remember what they call
Michael
it. Special
did a
presentation.
Job.
Yes, it is so good. I'm trying to get Clara, my wife, for those of you who don't know, to watch it with me this season, because it's spooky season, as people say.
Yeah.
But and it's really good. Black Panther, you talked about that, Wesley. You touched on that. And I enjoy. I need to rewatch that one as well. But yeah, I think they've been good. There are, again, Eternals, Black Widow. What was the other one? Thor: Love and Thunder and Quantumania that just feel, yeah. And obviously, I'm not saying these are all masterpieces. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there are parts in it where I enjoyed. Like I said, the Marvels I enjoyed more than other people. Secret Invasion. We didn't even talk about it. I really enjoyed it up until the ending.
Oh yeah.
The last episode didn't stick the landing, and I mean you could say that for quite a few of these, that they were good up until the ending. Echo wasn't terrible. It wasn't great.
Yeah. I like the small aspect of that show. But with
exactly
Secret Invasion, all the stuff with Rhodey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
But
and people, yeah. There's some speculation back there, and I'm sure if you're listening to this episode, you've heard it, that Rhodey has been a Skrull since Civil War, and I don't hold to that fact. I think it was like a hospital gown could literally mean anything. I don't think they're retconning it to where he didn't get to say goodbye to Tony. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think, maybe he went to the hospital for a checkup after Endgame, and that's when he gets switched with a Skrull. They're not going to take that away from Rhodey. I can't believe they will. But then, like you said, Deadpool and Wolverine. I have not experienced a Marvel movie in a theater quite as full, like you said, since Endgame. The theater I went to see Guardians 3 in the second time around was pretty packed.
Mine
but
too,
it was not as excited of a theater as Deadpool and Wolverine. There was an excitement around it, and but yeah, I think, and we can get into a little bit, I guess, if we want to dig through the weeds. Like, I think so. What would you say here? I'm going to put you on the spot. Is the worst Marvel movie in Phase 4 and Phase 5? The worst one, just the worst TV show or the worst movie. You can pick one of each. If you want.
Well, they're both at the bottom of the list for me, besides the Incredible Hulk. For Phase 5, Phase 4, I would say the Eternals.
Yeah. Okay.
That was like the Avengers on steroids. You had like 15 people. You had 15 people in the team.
Yeah.
And for an hour, like 2-hour movie, like, how are you going to spend all that time with all of these people? Like, it was crazy.
And of course I've never seen it, but and you've never met any of them before. So you're trying to meet them.
Yes.
And meet all of them at the same time. Whereas Avengers, there's 6 people and you've already seen them all in at least one other movie before getting to this point. So it's anyway.
I only like basically 2 characters, if I can recall. I've only seen it 2 times. Well, actually, I might have only seen it once in the theater. I'm not really sure, but like that was a packed theater too. Eternal. I went to
people were still holding out hope for the MCU at that point, I guess.
Yeah, they were.
And now everyone's given up.
Yeah. but it was a boring movie though. I remember almost falling asleep. It was pretty boring.
I mean, I almost fell asleep during Wakanda Forever, but that was for totally different reasons, not tied to that movie. Yeah. I was up for like 20, I think it was 30 hours before that. Yeah.
But the Marvels though, bro, there were so many, there's so many flaws with that movie. Like, there's stuff like where like they're standing in like some of the fights in the room, like where they don't. Oh man, the CGI was so bad when they had those fights in the spaceship.
Yeah,
and then the end with a whatever her name's choice,
Monica Rambeau.
Monica's choice. That was just so weird.
No. I agree with that.
Build up. There was no build up to that. And like the all three of them together, like, man, the writing just the writing just irked me to my core.
Okay. Yeah.
I was sorry.
No. That's fair. I can take it. No, that's okay.
I got my feelings got on my feelings during this movie. I was like, man, and like then the cats, that was crazy.
But
a bright spot though, we can agree, like Miss Marvel, like she is the future of the MCU here. I hope she's in a lot of like content to come. Like I hope this is like her main thing, like as an actor, like to come, I'm hoping for that second season reboot there.
I mean, I would even take a
movie,
with her, a standalone Miss Marvel movie, and maybe get Kate Bishop in there with her, maybe get Spider-Man. You could do a lot of things with Miss Marvel if you wanted, but
then like the dance number in a Marvel movie.
I agree with that as well. The dance. I was
a Marvel movie.
I was like checking. I think that was when, you're not supposed to, but it was like me, Clara, and then like maybe two other people far in front of us. I pulled out my phone and was kind of like checking the time during that dance number.
My mouth was open. My mouth was open. I was so shocked. It was crazy.
I think I was like, we're actually doing that. Go ahead.
I was so shocked. Like, there was this one guy that walked out with the theater with me. And it was something he said, like, along the lines of, like, we're like, this was a Disney princess movie or something like that. It was hilarious. I was I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And it was like, we all laughed. It was like the five of us like walking out of the theater, and it just
that is why. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's my rant, I guess.
No, you're good. In defense of it, though, I did think there was a lot of bright spots, and I don't remember the poor. I did feel like the script was lacking a bit, but I didn't notice the poor CGI. It was not okay. It was not to the level of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, poor CGI, but it was a little tough. But I do think we're getting past that. I think them pulling back a little bit, and I mean, we're still getting 4 movies in 2025, so maybe not pulling back too much, but and that is if Blade, and we'll talk about it, if Blade stays on the track that it's supposedly supposed to be going on. But I guess I can't defend it too much. I understand everything you're saying. I still enjoyed it, but I understand everything you're saying, and but for me, I would say my least favorites per phase would be, I'm looking at it right now for phase 4, probably. Okay, see, I'm torn because I didn't really care for Black Widow, but I enjoyed her and what's her name? Her sister's chemistry. Natasha. Yelena. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I like that too.
The chemistry of that and Black Widow was good. But then also Doctor Strange, I didn't really care for. it felt a lot darker than it needed to be for a Doctor Strange movie. And, I'm not a big fan of the horror kind of like witchcraft stuff. And, but I did like, the Illuminati kind of nod. No, you know what? I will say Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness because we just talked about Doctor Strange, the first one. And to the tag scene of it, the no more wizards, or no, is that what he says, right? Mordo?
Yeah.
And then you think it's going to be what the second Doctor Strange is about. And nothing. And I think we talked about that on the podcast.
And to that point, to that point, like, when like the separate franchises in the movies, like Iron Man, Captain America, like the Captain America and Iron Man franchises, they like built off of each other. And like this, for example, like went completely different. Of course, it was for a reason and all that. But still, it was some time to that. And, Sam Raimi, he's a legendary director. He can do what he wants, But, I guess. Yeah. And I think it was, it was definitely an overhyped movie because a lot of people thought there were going to be like, a lot of cameos. But, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, you did get some cameos. You got the Captain Marvel, who is Carol Danvers' co-pilot on the first one as Captain Marvel.
Peggy Carter.
You had, I can't remember.
Captain
Peggy Carter, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. You got the Black Bolt actor from the Inhumans TV show as a comic book accurate Black Bolt. And then you got Sir Patrick Stewart as freaking Professor X, which is, just awesome.
Yeah. The best.
So you did have some cameos.
I think that was the best.
Yeah. But then he just gets like his head blown in or whatever. It's like, what? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to say Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for that one. And then for Phase 5, it's got to be, Quantumania. Yes, Kang did a great job, but I feel like I talked about this on a podcast. But the script was terrible. There was no heart behind Scott Lang's, like, I've got to protect my daughter. There's no lead up to that, right? It was just like all of a sudden he's this overbearing, protective father, and it's like, what the heck is happening? And the CGI is just awful. There was some fun moments, but it was just, it was a bad one. It was not great. I didn't like it at all. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, I'm more optimistic about the stuff that is currently, that has been released more. Yeah. Oh, and we totally forgot to talk about X-Men 97 that came out, which I don't know if that's technically part of the MCU or not. I would consider it, but you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Which is,
I haven't. So
I'm a little disappointed, Wesley, to be honest. It's fantastic. I love it. Too. That's quite possibly one of my favorite things that have been released in recent memory, Marvel related. But
for sure.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, you want to talk about our favorite ones per phase, Wesley?
I guess we could.
If you have any. I mean, yeah. We've been so negative.
Yes, we could. Yeah.
Put a positive.
Yes, let's do that.
All right. Do you have it yet?
Movies
I can
shows. Movies or shows, or
movies or shows. Yeah. Go ahead. Your favorite thing that. Well, I guess for this we can say favorite movie and TV show.
Okay. For Phase 4. For Phase 4, I would definitely say. Oh man, that's Phase 5. Okay, well, for Phase 5, I would definitely say Guardians 3. That's the highest on my ranking. Yeah. For that. So, really, oh man, that ending, one of the best endings to a top 5 endings to a Marvel film. Like, once we get to that in a rewatch, oh man, I could watch that movie again and again, bro. Again and again.
I could too. Yeah.
Like,
I could too. 100%.
I've watched it. I've watched that movie 3 times now, and every time I watch it, like I'm about in tears. Like every time.
Yep.
Like that reunion with Peter and his grandpa, it's just so good. And like we talked about that. I talked about in the first Guardians, where like, you know, you start with Peter and his grandpa, and then literally you end with Peter and his grandpa in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. And they really did like all the characters justice too with oh man, I'm getting to like Guardians 3 review now. But like they did their characters justice. Like, you know, I love all of those actors too. Like Dave Bautista, he is just such a hilarious actor. And him and Mantis, their relationship is not Mantis. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that chemistry. That's one of the best duos I feel like in the MCU.
It's one of them.
I feel like that's
for sure.
underrated. Yeah. But that, and then for Phase 4, this is kind of a surprise, but I think on my ranking for movies, right after that, right before that is Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I really liked my the first watch was hilarious with I went to see that with my sister Kira and then my younger brother Jerry, and that was just hilarious. I saw that twice in the theater, and I liked having the one guy back. I forgot his name.
Trevor Slattery.
Man 3. Yeah, Trevor
Slattery.
Trevor was. I was not even expecting that. That was so good to have him back, and that was hilarious. And the bus fight scene that was insane.
Oh yeah.
But I really liked that. So
yeah,
too.
Absolutely, yeah.
And for shows for Phase 4, I would say well for Phase 4 and 5, Loki season 1 and 2. So like I said earlier. So.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So for movies, for me, Phase 4 would be, man, it's hard to top Spider-Man No Way Home. It just is. You know, you got the return of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and yeah, it's just a fun time. But I will give.
I forgot that was in Phase 4. Oh my god,
it is. But it is. Yeah, Shang-Chi is also good. Like I said, I'm just rewatching it. And then for Phase 5, I think I'm gonna go Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for you. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine is very good, like really good. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is just. I mean, I have it 6th of all MCU IP ever.
Yeah,
like it's just that good. And yeah, and I have Spider-Man No Way Home number 14 out of all of them. And then for TV shows, I didn't. So I'm gonna go like initially how I felt, because I couldn't get into Loki originally when it first released. I just couldn't.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I've told you. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Hawkeye with a nod to Moon Knight. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna say Moon Knight with a nod to Hawkeye. I really, really liked Moon Knight. I liked Oscar Isaac's performance. I liked the Egyptian, theme to it. It was really cool and really neat, and something that I really haven't seen in Marvel at all, really. And then for Phase 5, I really liked Loki. So I watched Loki season 2, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and watch Loki season 1, and I enjoy it now. And I'm not sure if this really counts, but X-Men 97, man. I love the X-Men. I love the movies. I love, comics. Then they're doing them all over again. So I'm reading them as they're coming out right now. The new X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and X-Factor. And it's just great. And X-Men 97 is just awesome. So Wesley, you have to watch it. You just have to.
I will.
If you don't, I'll cry. But yeah. That's that for that. So that's that for that.
That.
Let's dive in, I guess. So that's the past, since the end game, phase 4, phase 5. Let's get into the upcoming stuff, because this is, state of the MCU as it was, as it is, and as it's going to be. So we're going to look at the movies that are coming out in 2025, and then maybe look ahead at the Avengers movies that are slated for 2026 and 2027. So first up, February 14th, we have Captain America: Brave New World. Hey, that's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day 2024.
Yeah. Oh, 2025. Man, I'm not going to be able to see it. Oh, no. I'll probably be with my... Oh, man, that's
what happens when you start dating, Wesley. That's got to get... Does she like Marvel movies? Does she like Marvel movies? Does she like Marvel movies? You could go and see it together.
Yeah, she does.
As a Valentine's.
Well, there you go. She does, but she's not. Well, like, I don't exactly know yet. Like, I know she likes a few, but like, I really need to get down to the bottom of that. Maybe I'll ask her that this weekend.
Yeah. Because to be honest, man, that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Just joking. Yeah. No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
That would be something a little silly to end a relationship over, but
I haven't. Yeah, well, of course. I haven't talked to it about that type of stuff with her much. But we've talked more about sports, I feel like, than.
Okay.
Well, we do watch a lot of movies together, but like we've watched like a lot of Disney movies. So she likes, hot take, she likes the live action Lion King more than the original. So dude, be careful, man. That's strike one right there. That is wild. I give it to her. I'm like, hey, okay. Like, opinion is an opinion, Like, I'm like,
That's true.
But,
that's true.
It's all the same story, just a different format, I guess. So
that's wow.
Anyways,
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. You're not going to be able to come back for that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So we got Brave New World coming out on February 14th, 2025.
Yes.
The trailer, when it dropped, I watched it, I think, 5 times in a row.
Bro, yeah.
I was just
you texted me.
I texted that.
You literally.
I haven't done that since we started this podcast. Usually I wait to get on the pod, but I was like, dude, this is probably the greatest trailer I've seen.
That editing.
Since following the MCU deeply.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like Guardians 3 was a good trailer. I'm trying to think what other trailers I've watched. I think, but it just blew everything out of the water. I was like, holy crap. And it gave
No Way Home didn't give anything. But anyways.
No Way Home was a good trailer.
It was,
but it was not this level. I wasn't as excited for it. And it gives the vibe of, what's the Winter Soldier trailer?
Winter Soldier. Yes.
The political thriller that's just like, crazy. And you got a cast of, Anthony Mackie obviously is back as Captain America, but then you got Harrison Ford, man, Giancarlo Esposito, Tim Blake Nelson coming back as the leader, or Samuel Stearns. We're not sure which. Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, and probably the Falcon. And then Liv Tyler's actually coming back. She's on IMDb credits as Betty Ross.
Woohoo! Let's go, guys.
If we don't get Leonard,
bro,
as played by, I can't remember the actor's name, the dad from Modern Family. I can't. Yeah, I can't remember the guys.
Dude, I would like travel up to where you live and like like watch the movie with you, because there has to be a chance. There has to be a chance he's in this.
There's
movie.
gotta be.
There has
Yeah,
to
Ty
be.
Burrell. Ty
There
Burrell is the
has to be.
character. And if it's
Like-
not, what a terrible thing. Like,
It's gonna be a heartbreak.
Just one scene, please.
One scene.
Leonard.
One scene. Flashback with Liv Tyler.
Yeah,
with Betsy.
Flashback.
With Betsy.
I'll take a flashback.
Please.
But yeah, this trailer looks awesome. I know, like a year ago, or like in February of some kind, they did the test footage with audiences, and people weren't super pleased with it, and so they did a bunch of reshoots. But I have hope. The trailer looks phenomenal. I mean, we're getting a Red Hulk.
Red Hulk looks really good. I saw the footage in the panel or whatever, the leaked video, and that was really good.
Yeah. I'm doing my best to avoid the leaks just because I want to be surprised. And so if you say it looks good, I'll take your word for it, and I will avoid it at all costs. But
makes sense.
But it looks so good. I'm excited about this one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
I am too, for sure.
Yeah, do you have anything you want to add, Wesley? I kind of talked a lot, but I'm so excited.
Giancarlo. I love that he's coming to, the MCU. He's been in a lot of different things, like in what's that show?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. He's in the that. Never watched that, but I know he's like really famous off that. And then he's been in a bunch of other stuff like Star Wars and just other things in general. He's been
the Maze Runner. He was in the Maze Runner.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But we don't talk about those movies because I think I could have made them better. So, anyways,
hot take.
I'm just joking. but I am an avid. That was my junior high bookworm phase. Like those were my favorite books.
Yeah.
In junior high. So. I had a lot of big thoughts about that. Anyways, we're not talking about the Maze Runner. We are talking about Captain America. I feel like there's a lot of potential with Anthony Mackie. A lot of people, I feel like, still disrespect him, as an actor, and I feel like as becoming Captain America, I guess. But I feel like he's gonna really have a strong performance here. But I don't know. Who knows? We'll see when we see it. So
we will.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not happy with it. Like, we're getting a standalone Captain America movie with him as it, but I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know why. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was and Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a good TV show. I enjoy it. Claire and I rewatched it, and it's still good. It still holds up. And so I'm excited to see what happens. Will it be, I know I'm comparing it to Winter Soldier, but will it be like that? Probably not. Like, Winter Soldier had a great directors, great writers, great acting. Like, it's just a phenomenal. I mean, I think I ranked it second. Yeah, second in my Marvel rankings. It's just phenomenal. And so, it might not live up to that, but will it be a fun movie? I'm almost 100% sure it will be, just off the trailer alone. And the fact that they've got such a good cast. I am nervous, about the directors and the writers. But we'll see. We will see.
We will. For sure.
And we've got the Thunderbolts, asterisk, coming out in, when is that? July 25th. Oh, no, excuse me, May 2nd, 2025.
May 5th.
Yeah. Sorry. I that was Fantastic Four that comes out in July, but we'll get there. The trailer for this just dropped like a couple weeks ago. Again, a really fun trailer.
Yes. 3 minutes. They don't do that like 3.5 minutes or something like that. Like they don't do that now, with trailers. And
not a first trailer. Yeah. I was going to say.
It was a trailer, not a teaser,
they called it the teaser, so maybe we'll get like a 6-minute trailer coming out later,
Yeah.
But But yeah.
So I really liked it.
Go ahead.
I really liked it a lot. Like the beginning of that trailer, that was something significant to point. I liked where like it was talking about like a where it was following Yelena and like how like they are like her and like Bucky are kind of like, or like it's just like her, they're not like finding purpose, I guess. And I hope they explore a lot of that, because that's something that really struck me. And I'm like, bro, like something like in this time, I feel like that could be a really good theme for this movie, I guess.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah. I was gonna say there is the opening of the trailer was really fun, but it looks like, so to me it looks like this. Bucky doesn't seem to be working with the Thunderbolts right away, right? Like, or the group of them. And so here's a little theory. All right. Bucky is working for the government in some form of capacity. These guys are outside the law, and they're working against Valentina, the Val. Don't call her Val, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And so they're working against her. Bucky's working kind of for her, and then they'll find out something, and then he'll turn and start working with them. And some people, and not me, but it would be really cool, they think the asterisk is kind of like a placeholder, and Thunderbolts is just a placeholder name, and it's actually going to be a Dark Avengers film, whereas instead of a Thunderbolts film, because in the comics, the Thunderbolts is put together by Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Or Norman, like, and it's villains. It's like straight up villains, like the Suicide Squad, right? Villains who are expendable. Whereas the Dark Avengers are just like, like US Agent, like, bad guys who are trying not to be bad. It's different than the Thunderbolts, and so I could definitely see that being a path, and I think it would be really fun. Like Sentry, the Bob character who comes out on Bob, it's the Sentry. He's part of the Dark Avengers, and so it would be really interesting to see if that comes about.
I totally get that. I totally get that theory, especially with your stuff with the characters.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is, that was my thought. I feel like with Valentina, the stuff with Valentina, I feel like this is gonna like end after this movie. It's been building for a while with like different things, like a Nick Fury type of thing with like the first few phases. But I feel like it's just going to end after this.
Yeah.
That's just my gut feeling.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think she's going to be for this movie.
So, yeah.
The Nick Fury character. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So excited about this one. I mean, the cast, phenomenal. Again, we'll talk about that for just a second here. You got Lewis Pullman as Robert Reynolds, Sebastian Stan as Bucky, Olga, I should probably practice that. Dreykov's daughter is back as Taskmaster. Florence Pugh, obviously, as Yelena. Ghost is back. You got Red Guardian, US Agent. Lots of good, and obviously Valentina. So a lot of good character. I think it'll be. It feels a lot like it's going to be character driven, as opposed to. I hope it has a good cast or a good story and a good, but I think there will be a lot of character development in it, as well. But I mean, even going back to that Dark Avengers idea, the tagline, "Careful who you assemble." Like, the Avengers are assembled, right? Like, that's the whole point. And so it feels like it's teasing to that as well. So, but that's just,
it does.
That's my theories. And I'm hoping, because I don't want them to be considered bad guys. Because a lot of these guys, Bucky and Yelena and Red Guardian, they were superheroes, so I don't know. But yeah, then we don't know a lot about this one, but we got Fantastic Four: First Steps on July 25th, 2025. The cast.
Wait a second. It's going to set place in the 60s. And it's going to be, I think in the panel, they said that it's going to be like in a different format, the screen or whatever. It's going to be like box or whatever, that frame rate.
Ooh.
I think so.
That'll be interesting.
I think they said that. Don't quote me on that, anyone, please. But that's what I was watching videos of the panel, and I think that's what they said. But yes, talk about the cast. Yes.
Yeah, the cast. We got Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and I'm gonna try this name, Ebon Moss Barack as Ben Grimm. Then Julie Gardner as the Herald of Galacticus, Silver Surfer, and then Ralph Ineson as Galacticus himself. I don't know if that's actually, confirmed, but it is on IMDb. So they kind of talked about that. They hinted at that in the panel as well. Okay.
So yeah, I think he might be. Back in the phase 1 through 3 days, people were thinking like the next big bad after like Thanos would be Galactic.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
But. And I think that should be like, I felt like that should be the next one, or like, I don't know, to end out the MCU or whatever,
that would be interesting. Yeah. That they fail and that's just the end of the MCU.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
But, if they just bring him, this might be just an introduction movie, but I don't think he'll die or anything like that.
I mean, this has all the makings of a fantastic movie because it's got Matt Shackman as the director. He directed WandaVision, which was a great TV show.
Yep. Yeah.
The music by Michael Giacchino, which I saw a clip where he was like, it's a 60s superhero movie. It's going to be very hard not to mimic The Incredibles. He's like, I'm having a hard time trying to differentiate from The Incredibles to this.
And he's doing hit after hit right now. He did If this year. That was like my top 3 scores of the year. If was great. But anyways, he's working on Batman 2 right now. He's working on that.
Did he do the music for the Penguin?
No.
Or
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Quick.
But yeah, I just saw an Instagram post like this week or last week. It was last week of him by a Batman statue or whatever. And outside, I think DC or whatever. And so, and it was like, everybody was freaking out in the comments and all that. So,
no, his brother or some relation. It's Mick Giacchino.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, he does have a brother. So
his brother or his son or something. I don't know.
That would be cool. I know they did the documentary for the werewolf show. It really went in depth about his family and stuff like that. So I know he does have a brother. So that would have been cool if it was his brother. But I mean,
it's got the same last name, and that's not a super.
Highly recommend that if anybody's into behind the scenes, documentaries. It's about an hour long or so, I think. But that one from recent years, I'm really into those types of things. But it's on Disney Plus, and it's they call Marvel's. It's called they have one basically for each show and movie and all that. It's called Marvel's Assembled for the Werewolf by Night, and that was pretty good because it was more about. It was not just about the thing. It was some of it was about his family stuff. So that was pretty cool. So
awesome. Yeah.
Anyways.
So it is his son, Mick Giacchino, is doing the music, music for the Penguin. It also says here he did the soundtrack for Zootopia Plus on the original series on Disney Plus for that. Which makes sense because
it's coming out. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming out. Okay. But because Michael Giacchino did the soundtrack for Zootopia. So you can't get Michael, you get his son, apparently.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. But again, Fantastic Four First Steps is one that I'm pretty excited about. I've got a theory here because they said it takes place in the 1960s, right? Galacticus is the villain, and different. It's not 616. Different Earth.
Nope. Yeah, not 616.
So what if Galacticus comes right to their world,
Yeah.
and they try and stop him, and they can't. And so they find a way to get to, like, not time travel, but world hop or whatever.
Okay.
And then they wind up here in the 616 universe. Like,
I
don't know. Maybe that's not like the end of that movie, but somehow they got to get them in, or, they just keep them over there. And then they world hop when Doctor Doom inevitably makes Battle World, which we'll talk about in Avengers Secret Wars.
Yes, bro.
Like, there's tons of opportunity, but it's gonna get good, I think. I mean, it's already good. It's gonna get great.
Hopefully.
So hopefully. But that's the Fantastic Four. And then we're supposed to be getting, on November 7th, a Blade movie with, is it Mahershala Ali or I can't remember.
Oh man, I knew the spelling. I knew the
Mahershala.
Mahershala. Yeah.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali as Blade. And this was announced, if I'm remembering correctly, 2021 Comic-Con. And we were supposed to get it in 2023, I think was the original release date. Yes. And it's now been pushed back 2 years. And
another director has left it.
Isn't that the second director that has left the project?
Yeah, in June that was announced.
So this project has been getting a lot of pushback, a lot of road bumps, and with the unfortunate, not the unfortunate, but the bringing the Wesley Snipes back into the MCU. There have been some people, i.e. Ryan Reynolds, saying that he needs another movie. And so there have been talks that maybe he'll be the Blade in this movie, or there'll be two Blades in this movie. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like, you casted this guy. Yeah. And you're going to bring in the old guy. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel kosher.
I'm just wondering how much they have filmed and what they have, like, literally, because production was started to they started doing production in 2022 in November or whatever. And and then the original release date was in 2023, and now it's 2024,
Yeah.
And now going to be 2025. So what do they have? That's my question. What do you have for this movie? Right now? It's
it's a very good question. I don't know. You've got to have some stuff, right?
You gotta.
But I don't know. I'm not holding out hopes for this one.
Me either.
And I don't know a lot about Blade. I've never watched the old movies. I never read any comics.
I know a lot of the older generation likes those movies, and people who are in their 40s and 50s, I don't know, they
who are our age when that one came out.
Yeah.
So, but
in the 90s and stuff. So
I've never watched them, and I don't know. I liked him in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't know if I have any want to watch those. Maybe we'll go back and do a Fox Universe rewatch after the MCU.
That would be crazy. Yeah, we could.
Yeah, but that's our talk on Blade. I mean, yeah. And so before we get into the Avengers stuff, let's talk about the possibility of a Spider-Man 4 and a Shang-Chi 2, and what's our hopes for? Let's start with Shang-Chi, because I feel like we'll talk a little bit more about Spider-Man 4 than Shang-Chi 2, or Shang-Chi. Sorry. What do you think about the possibility of getting another Shang-Chi?
Well, I think Simu, he literally, I think he said in an interview, I think I saw it on a night show, that he said they were working on it. So it's been confirmed, I think. So of course not officially, but he literally said in an interview that we're working on it or something like that. So, but I'm hoping there is. But the after credit scene left a lot to be, discovered, I guess.
Yeah.
with Wong and stuff like that. But that was back then, phase 4, and like
Phase
with
4,
all the
yeah.
multiverse stuff, and they were like, oh, there's like something else out there or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Talk about tag scenes that were never brought back. That one is. Yeah, I got nothing for that.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. We should do a ranking sometime of tag scenes, like
tag scenes that never got brought back. I mean,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Shang-Chi, right now the Marvels.
Yeah. What was my thought with that? But I'm really interested to see what they do, because I really liked the group of characters in that with Aquafina. I don't like some of her roles. I know she's more of a comedic actor. But I think she did pretty well here in the MCU, though. But I'm hoping for some more of her and Simu. I think Simu is one of those guys like in the MCU where you could really do a lot with him. And I think he'll be one of the main Avengers, probably, in the Avengers movies coming up. So.
Yeah. I've got kind of like talking about that when we get to the Avengers movies. I've got kind of like my list of these guys have to be in the Avengers for it to be an Avengers team that I'm interested in.
True.
Because there are people that they're trying to shoehorn in, and I'm like, they don't need to be an Avenger.
No.
I'm waiting for the day when they split, like do an Avengers team and an Ultimates team. Because I read Civil War 2 recently, which is like it's Captain Marvel versus Iron Man, and Captain Marvel's the leader of the Ultimates and Iron Man's the leader of the Avengers, and they go back and forth on this anyway. And I'm just waiting for the day when they actually do that in the MCU. But about a Shang-Chi too. I again, third time I've said this, I'm rewatching it because I'm like, I put this down on the list of things to talk about. I was like, I haven't really watched that since I went to a drive-in theater and fell asleep during it. So I'm like, I don't know how much of it I've actually known. So I rewatched it. I'm not finished with it yet, but the bit that I have watched, I watched up to when they met Trevor Slattery. And I really like it. I really love it. I think it's a very, very good movie. And I think, Simu is very, very good at acting. And he makes the character someone you care about within like the first 10 minutes of the movie. And then, like you said, the train fight is awesome. Any martial art fight I get, I'm in. I love it. And so it was just really cool. And I think the character's complex. I think that the relationship with the dad that we get is really interesting. So I'm all for a second one. But I feel like at least the moment, it's almost too late for it. Without him being in another movie first, right? Like he's got to be in, I don't know, Captain America: Brave New World or something to be able to get him back on the map, because it's been
Fantastic
3 years
Four.
since that movie. Hey, put him in a tag scene, man. Put him in a tag scene. But you don't even have to go anywhere with it, apparently.
He's like the first person they see. He's like he's doing his like what was his job? He was a chauffeur.
Valeting the car,
valeting the cars. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The Fantastic Four just pull up in the Fantastic car, throw him the keys to the hover ship, and be like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" Man, we should really write for Marvel, dude. What are we not? Why are we not there?
Yeah, bro.
We could crank out better dialogue, man.
Once you hear my theory about a Doctor Doom, bro, in this, when we get to that, dude, I have a theory. I have a good theory, bro. I'm
excited. I'm excited
with that.
But yeah, let's talk about Spider-Man 4 now, because at the end of Spider-Man 3, right, they left it. And I love it because those three movies were literally his origin story, as opposed to having one movie where it's like, oh, now Spider-Man. It's like, let's get him to the point where he's, the comic book Spider-Man, where no one knows his secret identity. He's living alone. He's got, not really any friends. And this is Spider-Man. And so like Spider-Man, I think they're calling it, and I could be wrong, and I really hope they do, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Because, you've had regular Spider-Man, you've had the Amazing Spider-Man, and now you can do Spectacular Spider-Man. You can do Ultimate Spider-Man. There are a lot of areas, but I love the idea of a Spectacular Spider-Man as a title here.
I'm getting chills right now, bro. I'm just recalling I'm getting chills because of that scene with a Zendaya and him at the end there. Bro, that's one of the best scenes in Marvel like ever. Like that was bro, Tom Holland, his acting, bro. I know like more superhero movies don't get enough, like don't get really any credit, but like that deserved an Oscar, bro. Tom Holland, like his acting in that movie was so great.
It was a great ending scene. Yeah,
I didn't really like him that much. Like I didn't see when the movies came, like when the movies came out. Like I didn't really see the first one or the second one, and then I like watched those before like I watched No Way Home. But like I was really genuinely surprised about like how far his acting has come, and it was really great. And I'm so excited to see him get back at it. But he's been taking a little break from like acting and stuff, I think. But I can't I think there's a lot of good potential. And Spider-Man villains, bro, those are my favorite villains in Marvel, bro. Doc Ock was my favorite like Marvel villain when I was a child, and probably still is, to be honest. I was addicted to Dr. Octopus, bro. But I'm really, dude, that would be a villain like I would want to see again. The Alfred Molina, of course, nothing can measure up to him, but I would want to see that. But of course, a Green Goblin, that would be good. But still, like Green Goblin, we've already seen it before, and you can't measure up to Willem Dafoe at all.
No.
But but if we get I don't know, it would have to be a villain I feel like we haven't seen, or like one of those mediocre villains, like I feel like it has to be a Spider-Man villain too. Like it can't just be a normal like Marvel villain. It has to be a Spider-Man one too. So like I don't know what you could do, but yeah.
So here's what I think, right? Like they've introduced Daredevil into the MCU, right? He was in Far From No Way Home. I think it will be, if they do a Spider-Man 4, I think it could be a Daredevil, like with Daredevil, Spider-Man against Kingpin, because they kind of run in the same circles in street level, and now he is more of a on the ground superhero, and so you could do a Kingpin, or like a Sinister Six movie, because you have Vulture with the first one. Mysterio, he could be alive, right? Like
I would cry. Or
Mysterio
I would just
could be
get
alive.
Another actor. Get another actor. I didn't like Jake Gyllenhaal that much as Mysterio.
What? Really?
Yeah, I didn't really.
Okay,
like
hey,
no.
That's fair. That's fair. But you could bring him. I believe in the end, the tag scene of Homecoming, they introduce the guy, like a Scorpion. It could be Scorpion.
Yes.
And then you could, I don't know, you could bring back, there could be a Rhino character now. Like you could find some media, or bring in Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven from the Sonyverse, or bring in Venom from the Sonyverse. Like
I don't think they could do that. I don't. In the contract, I don't.
Oh, that's fair. But we have the tag.
Tom Hardy. I think he said that this is going to be his last one. That's what I heard.
Well, then they have the tag scene from, I think it's No Way Home, where there's a little bit of symbiote that gets left behind when Venom gets taken into back home.
Yeah.
So there could be another Venom, right? You could do, I don't know, a Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, or you do something with a Sinister. I would love to see a Sinister Six movie, all against Spider-Man. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And we were gonna get that with Andrew Garfield. We were gonna get that.
Yeah. But I think Andrew Garfield should get another shot at a third movie. Just make him the Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse or
It'll
something. I don't know.
it'll bring Sony back. Of course, Sony has a Spider-Verse release, but it'll bring Sony back because like Morbius,
They keep
Web,
trying. They keep trying, and they're pooping out. So
yeah. So
yeah, Spider-Man 4 is one that I hope we get sooner rather than later. But also, take your time, Marvel. It's okay. We can be patient.
Yes. No. Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't want that right now. I guess. I don't know.
No. Me neither. Let's take a beat and breathe. But let's get into our theories on. Well, okay. Here's a question: do we want to talk about upcoming shows, or do we want to and then save Avengers for the very last?
Dude, I want to talk about Avengers, but we could talk about the shows briefly. Like
I say, let's touch briefly on the shows because it's already about an hour.
Yeah, true,
so
true.
Let's talk about the shows briefly, and then we can get into the Avengers. So here's what I'm going to do: instead of talking about them individually, let's talk about the ones that we're most excited about. So we got Daredevil Born Again. We've got Ironheart. We got Armor Wars. We've got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We've got Untitled Vision series, which a lot of people are calling Vision Quest. I don't know. It's untitled. So we'll call it Untitled Vision.
Yeah.
And then X-Men 97 Season 2, which I just added onto the list because I freaking love X-Men 97. But which one of these are we most excited about?
For me, I would definitely say Daredevil. I haven't seen the Netflix one. So,
pretty good.
I'm going to see that sometime. But, from what I've seen, in in Spider-Man and
She-Hulk.
That too. And Echo, that was kind of erased from my memory there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's good.
Good. But he seems like a very interesting character, and then bring him to fold in the MCU, a ground level superhero,
Yeah.
And with Kingpin and all that, I think it's supposed to be 12 episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
And I feel like they really pinpointed that. They made like a whole setup at D23, the bi-yearly Disney convention. That was like the main show they were like promoting during that time, because they
really
like
Born Again.
Born Again. They had like a whole thing set up for that.
Wow.
In the expo hall or whatever. It was pretty cool too. What was I going to say with that? But I'm really interested to see what they're going to do. I feel like the episodes, Disney Plus episodes, sometimes they can be like 30 minute. I feel like they're going to be like 30-minute episodes, or like, I feel like they're going to be a little bit shorter, but like, at the same time, I think they could like develop a good story, and they've been working on this for a while too. So, very interested, and it's going to be darker too. It's going to be darker as well. So,
I mean, it's going to be, I think they're saying they're taking it from where it was with the, Netflix series, which is pretty dark, and making it even darker, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
But according to IMDb, there are and I don't know if this is for season 1 there is 18 episodes.
Oh wait, I heard it. Yeah, okay. I didn't know,
which is awesome. Yeah. Which is awesome because I'm sick of these
like an actual
6 episode TV shows.
There hasn't been a show like that long for like a Marvel like live action show that long.
Since on Disney Plus, I think if I recall the Netflix series was about that length, but I could be just not right, which I've been known to be every now and then. Not all the time, but every now and then. Let me check here so I'm not spreading lies.
Yes, like what I do all the time, and just quote things. I quoted like 3 or 4 things this episode. I'm like, I don't know if people said that, or like if that's
So the Netflix series, at least for Daredevil, was 12 episodes.
Okay.
So, this is going to be probably the longest. Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think, had 20-some episodes apiece. But that's because it was on television. So, I think those are the most recent ones that have been long. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that one's your most. Which one are you kind of suspect about? Like, which one are you like? I don't know if we actually need this.
I don't know. What's Armor Wars? Armor Wars
So-
is the Don Cheadle one.
Yes, as the War Machine one.
Yes, and I thought back then, I thought like Ironheart and Armor Wars was going to be like the same thing, you know?
I feel like you probably could make it the same thing if you want.
Yeah. So, you know, that Ironheart, you know, I feel like they could make that. That's going to be like Echo, definitely. That's going to be a lot like Echo. I feel like, you know, a small town, like, you know, not small town, but like a small story. So I'm really interested to see what that is. Sorry for the stutter, guys. But Army Wars.
Armor Wars.
Hey, that would be
Whoa,
interesting.
that's a totally different show there. Wow. It's like the true crime podcast about the Army Hammers. Anyway, we don't need to go into that. Anyway.
Armor Wars. Yes, Don Cheadle. I'm totally suspect about that. They probably have nothing planned yet, like nothing for sure planned with that. I don't know if they have a director yet or anything yet. He has talked about it in interviews. Don Cheadle has, because whenever I see an interview, like he's like at least mentioned that a little bit if he's asked about that. So, you know, it's still in progress, but you know, I feel like it's gonna be one of those, you know, it might get canceled or something, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I would echo. I'm most excited about Daredevil. I think that's really exciting. And the one I'm most suspect about is the Vision one, because one, I don't think Vision can carry his own series. I just don't. I don't think that's like love Paul Bettany, love the character of Vision, but I don't think Vision is a main character in and of itself. So I'm very suspect about that one. And I'm also suspect about the Armor Wars one, just because like it's been out there for so long. Well, so has, I guess all of these have really been out there for a while. But I think they're both not doomed, but I think if they do end up getting released, it's going to be bad just because it's been workshopped for so long and just been out there for so long that, that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
But now let's get to the main event. The one you've all been here waiting for. Let's talk about Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, slated to be the first, probably Friday of May in 2026 and 2027, May 1st and May 7th. As we've known, Avengers Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom in these two movies, or at least for Doomsday. We don't know about Secret Wars, but you can't have Secret Wars without Doctor Doom. So I would assume it's going to be both. Wesley, you've got some theories. I've got some theories. Bro. Let's talk about it. Well, let's actually first, let's get down what Avengers team we would like to see. Like who are on these Avengers teams, just so we kind of get the idea, and then we can get into theories. So I say we can go back and forth and kind of throw up a name and we can kind of talk about it. So the first person that
you said you had a list beforehand.
I do have a list.
So I feel like go through your list, and I'm going to make my list right now as you speak. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for Doomsday, I would think it's going to be just like the Avengers team, and then in Secret Wars, I think you'll bring in the Fantastic Four. I think you could bring in an X-Men team. I think you could probably bring in, you know, some characters we haven't really seen before, and they just show up, right? Like, I'm trying to think of superheroes we haven't really seen. Like, I don't know. You could bring almost in the Defenders, like the Luke Cage and the Jessica Jones and the Iron Fist of the Netflix series, and they could be in there. But my Avengers team for Avengers Doomsday, I think you got to have Spider-Man. That's kind of a no-brainer. Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think another no-brainer is hold up. I'm blanking. Well, Shang-Chi. I'm going to put Shang-Chi on there. I think he's got to be on there just because I think he's so good. I think you bring in Black Panther, you bring in Shuri, you bring in the Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo's Incredible Hulk. I know people have been hating on him. It's kind of a cool thing to do right now. Be like, Edward Norton's Hulk was better, but Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk we have. And yes, I think they kind of nerfed him, to use the slang, in as Smart Hulk. I don't think you can still. I don't know. You can still have the super angry, super brawny with the smart, but that's whatever. So Hulk, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Black Panther, sure is Black Panther, and I think you bring in Moon Knight from the television series. I know people didn't really like him, but I think you bring him in, and then I think to round it out, you bring in Wolverine as an Avenger. I think that's kind of what you got to do. You could bring in Rhodey. I think it'd be cool to bring Rhodey in the Iron Man armor, not the War Machine armor, which I think that would be really cool. Like he's kind of taken on the persona of Iron Man. And then if you wanted, bring in Captain America, Sam Wilson, but you don't have to. That's my Avenger team. So you got Captain America, Sam Wilson, War Machine, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Hulk, and Wolverine. I think that's everyone. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
I feel like we should
Oh, Moon Knight as well.
Sorry. I feel like we should save these lists until in the future.
Yeah.
Get if we get our guesses right, for the first movie.
Save the receipts. Save the receipts.
I think we'll be mostly right, correct.
Yeah.
But
I mean okay. If I think what they're going to do, I think they're going to shove Captain Marvel in there just because they want to. I feel like Captain Marvel will probably end up being in it, even though we don't want her to be. But you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
I totally blanked on Doctor Strange. That's who I was going to say. I think Doctor Strange is also in there. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, now your list. Go ahead, Wesley.
Yeah, that's what I was. So I basically have the same list. For certainties, I think for sure Doctor Strange. I think.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Shuri, definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like Captain America as well.
Okay.
You got to have that symbol there. I would also say Shang-Chi, but that's, I don't know. And then the ones that I'm uncertain about are Hawkeye, maybe, and then Ant-Man. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I didn't even think about Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man, and then of course Captain Marvel. But the two that I'm these guys could just trickle in some part in the movie or something like that, or Thor, probably. Mm-hmm. And then the one that I'm dude, halfway through the movie or something like that, he did somebody picks him up, or some scene happens where he gets called in, or something happens around him or something like that. But Peter Quill, he's gonna be in something here. Peter's gonna get involved somewhere, but in a cool way. I feel in a cool way, since he's back on Earth now. They could do something really cool with this. Since he's back there. So that's my guesses for it. But I do have a theory for all the Doctor Doom stuff. So,
all right, go ahead.
But
take it away.
So my theory, man, I had a really good one once everything was announced with the Russo brothers coming back and RDJ coming back. I had a really good one where it's I forgot about it. And I don't know if this one I have now is the same one I had then, back then when everything got announced, because I was just really excited and my thoughts were everywhere. But this one I have now is something in between, something there was a lot of memes when it was coming back, about Iron Man and stuff like that, and him coming back, and just about Iron Man in general. But I feel like this Doctor Doom coming in, I don't think he'll be from 616, and I don't know if they talked about that or not. I don't think they did, but I don't think he'll be from 616. So, in my personal opinion, so I feel like in his universe or something like that, he doesn't know about Iron Man or something like that. So he comes to this universe and learns about Iron Man, and like he stumbles upon like recordings of like, Iron Man's dad or something. I feel like there's gonna be a scene or something like that. He like stumbles upon like a Stark Industry like, recording or something like Iron Man 2 when like Tony was like looking at his old dad's old stuff, something like that. So I feel like there's going to be like, I feel like this Doctor that you could really personify. That's not a word. Personalize this Doctor Doom. They're going to have to, just like they did with Thanos. You got to have a backstory with this guy. And
absolutely,
you got to make him more relatable. Bro, I'm getting chills right now, bro. I don't know if that's the air in my room, but you gotta freaking just personalize this guy to be sympathize with him like you did with Thanos. And I think the Russo brothers will be able to do that. But man, I'm really stoked I love Doctor Doom as a character in general, but so that's my 2 cents. So
that's interesting. I haven't thought about that, but here's what I think. 100% he's not from 616. He can't be, right? Same face. It doesn't work. So here's what I think. I think they could go one of 2 ways. It could be one, this is actually Victor Von Doom from a different Earth, and he just happens to have the same face as Tony Stark. Or this is Tony Stark from another universe who like has the technology and like the armor that he builds, because Doctor Doom has the full suit, the mask, everything, is Iron Man's armor just used for evil instead of good. Like he went full on maniacal crazy man mode, and now he's like trying to conquer the universes or whatever. Or I think the way they could get out of the Kang thing or whatever, right, is that Doctor Doom like meets Kang, and they're like, this is a whole like they're teaming up, and then in the first like 5 minutes of Doomsday, like Kang is like, it's all set, like we're all good, and then Doctor Doom just like kills him. He's like, great, whatever, like
that would be crazy.
Now I'm gonna take over the universe or whatever. And so now they got to stop him, and then he builds Battleworld or whatever, like because Doomsday is leading up to Avengers in Secret Wars.
It is.
And so at the end he's gonna build, I don't know how much you know about Secret Wars, but like Secret Wars is like a bunch of villains and a bunch of bad guys get on, or a bunch of bad guys, a bunch of good guys are on what's called Battleworld, and it's a bunch of universes put together, whatever. But well, for those of you who are out there listening who don't know what that is, that's what that is. And so, I think that's what's going to happen, but it's got to, something like that.
What if, when you were talking, I thought of like, what if he comes from a world where where the Avengers lost? It's so basic. This idea is so basic. But what if he comes and he was the last one to survive? He was the last Avenger to survive. And and like he turns because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning. And that would be. I don't know what the reasoning would be for that.
Yeah,
he's depressed. Maybe I don't know. But he was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's pretty. Did you say it was easy, or I can't remember the word you used?
Yeah.
That is a pretty
basic.
Basic. Yeah, that is a pretty basic theory. Yeah. But it could happen, and it would. Yeah. It might work if they do it with the right heart. But so if they don't do the fact that he's a Tony Stark from another world, and it actually is Victor Von Doom, you can't show his face, right? Like that face is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So like he's got to wear the mask the entire time if it's going to work out, or like strong facial prosthetics or whatever, right?
He's going to do so well. He is going to do.
I think he'll do great.
Wait. I cannot. I think he'll do good.
I think he'll do great, and I just hope he doesn't like sarcasm it up, because then that's too much like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Sure. It's got to be more dark and brooding and grouchy almost, if you want it to be.
Yeah, well, did you see Oppenheimer? Did you see Oppenheimer, his performance?
I did not see Oppenheimer, no.
Yeah. And well, he played like of course it's a historical, but like but he was like kind of, I was going to say villain, but like, the antagonist, like for a movie setting, I guess.
Yeah.
you know, he was against Oppenheimer. He was against Oppenheimer, and like he acted as hard. He got an Oscar. He got an Oscar for it.
He did get the Oscar.
Yeah, he did. I think so.
Nice.
But
at least nominated.
So yeah. So yeah, he did really good in that too, because he was kind of like the bad guy, I guess. You know. In that. So you know, it was definitely a major tone shift, but like he was not like, you know, he was pretty serious in that role. So you know, I think he has the capability of, you know, changing it. So
that's good. And I there's a lot of fan theories out there about him reuniting with Spider-Man and make it, you know, it's like, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's what I was talking about.
It may, but it's, I don't know. It could really, really work, and it could also fail miserably. So it'll be interesting. But and then Secret Wars, obviously, that following May in 2027. I mean, that's going to be fun. I think, like I was saying, you bring in the X-Men. This would be a great.
That has to be like over 3 hours.
I would gladly take a 5-hour movie of Secret Wars. But
yeah.
But you got to bring in the X-Men here. I think this is the perfect place to introduce mutants to the MCU, right? Like, I mean, obviously they've already introduced them with Deadpool and Wolverine, and with the tag scene from the Marvels, but like a full-on X-Men team where you've got Gambit, you've got Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Beast, Jubilee, you know, like you could go crazy with it, and you could, you know, have a nice moment if Wolverine is on the Avengers team where he sees Professor X again, and he's like, you know, it would be really cool for that Wolverine storyline where he, you know, failed them all as an X-Men, to be like, oh, you guys you're here, and they could be like, we don't know you, you know.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty interesting. Yeah,
it would be. How old is Patrick Stewart? Because he's up there. I know
I think he's like
for
mid 80s.
Because he can't. I forgot if can he still walk or not? Is that just? I think he can. Yeah, I think
Patrick Stewart can walk. Yeah, I think he's in pretty good shape for being that old.
84. He's 84. I don't know. Sorry. When I saw him, when I saw him in Doctor Strange, 84. When I saw him in Doctor Strange, he looked kind of elderly. So I was like, you know, I didn't know what the state of him was. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't bring Patrick Stewart, it could be James McAvoy, Professor X. He could get another shot at it.
Yeah.
Or a completely different Professor X if you wanted to start fresh. But
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Secret Wars, you know, once we get a little bit more on Avengers Doomsday, which, I mean, it's still over 2 years away. But we'll get, or no, less than 2 years away. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But once we get a little bit more on that, then we can start, you know, theorizing for Secret Wars. But is there anything else you want to say about these Avenger movies or anything on this before we wrap it up with our thoughts on the future of the MCU?
I don't think so. I'll leave. I'm more interested right now. I'm not even thinking of like a Secret Wars yet. Like I'm just so interested about like Doomsday and stuff like that, and just Doctor Doom in general. You know, there's a lot of good potential with this character, and I can't wait to see what the Russo brothers do. So
yeah, but, I agree. Absolutely. All right. So let's close it out with our thoughts on the future of the MCU, like where we think it's going to go, what we think is going to happen, how we feel about it. Wesley, you can kick us off, and then I'll close us.
Yeah. So for me, like next year alone, you know, there's 4 movies. Well, 3 for sure. But,
we might get a 45-minute Blade TV show episode. Call it a movie.
Special, like Werewolf by Night, like like in November release or something like that.
Yep.
Anyways, but you know, we got some bangers coming out, and I just loved how they like slowed down here, like a few movies here this year, like only 2 movies, and how they're building up to these back to back great movies, with Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts and the other ones. I just can't wait to see I'm really interested to see what they're going to do movies wise. I don't think they have a great ideas yet for shows per se. Daredevil is going to be really good, I'm pretty sure, but other than that, I don't see a lot of hope with the shows, but that could turn around. But for the movies, I think we're good for a while. So, and we have hope. We have the Avengers movies planned. And I don't know after that, but the next few years, we're going to be cruising, guys. We're going to be cruising. So there's going to be some good Marvel movies in the near future. So, yeah.
Yeah. I resonate with everything you said, right? Not a lot of hope for the TV shows right now. And obviously hearing good things about Agatha all along, but and Daredevil is going to be, phenomenal. That's a tried and true cast, right? We got good stuff with them on the Netflix series. You haven't seen it, but I have. There's good stuff there. And they bring everyone back. Punisher, Foggy, Karen, Wilson Fisk, Daredevil. It's good. It depends on the writing. And that's what a lot of this has been in the past. Well, why people don't like, Quantumania, Thor Love and Thunder, those movies, those TV shows, because the writing has been poor. And for Daredevil, that's all that relies on. And thank God for these Avenger movies. We're getting Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. They are phenomenal Marvel writers. And so, like you said, these next few movies, there's hope. It really hinges on Captain America: Brave New World if it lives up to the hype that the trailer has. And so there's hope for that. There's hope for Thunderbolts. There's hope for Fantastic Four. And then, like you said, after that, we'll see. But I will remind everyone, this is what happened in 2014, 15, right? There was that bit of a lull where not everyone loved Thor: The Dark World. Not everyone loved what was that other movie? Avengers: Age of Ultron, right? There's got to be some of those lows. And I don't even think they're lows, right? But there's got to be some of those things that not everyone enjoys. And then you'll come back up. And people were so used to banger after banger in 2017, 2018, 2019 that they got, or 2016, 2017, 18, 19.
Used to it.
With Marvel.
Got used to it.
They got used to like banger after banger. And not everything's going to be a banger. There's going to be stuff you don't like. There's going to be stuff you do like. And so I just want to, it's not dead. It may be not the moneymaker it used to be. It may not be great, but it's still good stuff. And I'm very excited for the future of the MCU. And so guys, that's it. That's the our look ahead and look back on the MCU. Thank you for sticking with us for these 2 hours, hour and a half, I guess. But we know it's a little bit different of an episode, but it's fun. I enjoy talking about it with Wesley. I hope Wesley enjoys talking about it with me.
Yeah, and to note, guys, we never mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast, but this is our 2-year anniversary episode.
It is.
It was yesterday. Technically yesterday, October 10th. That was yeah.
And by the time this comes out, it'll be probably 2 or 3 days away. But
yeah. So, but it's been a joy, a ride, to do this. And thinking back to that first Iron Man podcast, I literally listened to some of that this week, and it was hilarious because I had like one thought. I had like one thought to each scene. It was pretty terrible.
Hey, you grow, When we had started, I'd been podcasting for about 4 years, and so you were brand new to it. So
Yeah.
And it takes a while to learn, and you've grown so much. It's really cool to see. So
thanks.
And it's been great to be alongside you for these 2 years, and hopefully many more as we continue to talk about movies, because movies are going to continue to come out. And
yeah, they will.
There are a plethora of movies to review that have already come out. So this can keep going for as long as we want it to.
Yeah.
We'll be 90 years old in the nursing home still doing this.
Yep.
Having our grandkids be like, how do you set this up, guys? I can't do this anymore.
Or we'll be like that and finally get that Disneyland episode or something like that.
We'll go to Epcot. We'll go to Epcot.
We'll go to Epcot.
Do the Epcot and do the podcast episode. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode and all the other episodes of the Movie Minutemen podcast.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you taking your time to do that. If you want to email us, you can do that at the Pens and Stuff podcast. Oh my goodness. The Movie Minutemen podcast at gmail.com. You can check our shop out at themovieminutemenpod.com. Get a nice hat, get a hoodie that says, Justice for Leonard. Bring him back in Captain America, Brave New World, or Horse, which for those of you who don't know, listen to the Tangled episode, you will know.
Yep.
Yeah, there's mugs, there's shirts, there's hats. If you want to, rep the podcast, you can do it that way as well. But yeah, Wesley, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, wspill.30. You can find me on Letterboxd, Westman1730. I log literally every single thing on there. So every single thing I watch.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. So I watched the most recent thing I watched was Nightmare Before Christmas. That was 4 stars. Whoa, I'm losing my voice here. But I think a little indie film that would surprise a lot of people. Well, not indie film, but it was personally, it was a short film, kind of like my thing, but not really. It was called Hidden Blessings. It's a Christian movie, so it's an required taste. It's available to rent and buy on digital. It's like $3 to $10 or whatever, something like that. So definitely recommend that. And also recommend Saturday Night. That just came out. It's about the first live taping of Saturday Night Live. It's literally about the show. It's not like, it's the last hour and a half before the show goes on air. Literally the entire movie. It's like an hour and a half or something like that. The movie is it was really cool. That one's that's rated R, kind of raunchy with the language and all that. Yeah. But still, I thought it was pretty good. But anyways, that's me. I don't think that's me on the followings and all that. So yeah.
And you can find me on Instagram at AndyAugustine01 or on Letterboxd at Andy Rates Movies. Those are some. I don't watch nearly as many movies as Wesley does, which is not a bad thing. But
it's okay.
I do post on there. I think the last thing I rated was Toy Story, maybe.
Let's go.
Or no, X-Men for no. I rated Cars 3 weeks ago. See, I don't watch movies very often. But yeah, you can follow me there. You can also check out the podcast on Instagram at the Movie Minutemen Podcast, or on Facebook at the same. We update the Facebook more often than the Instagram, but just make sure you go follow that. And if you follow the Instagram, you'll be able to vote on when we do the fan choice episodes and whatnot. And you can do that on Facebook too. So either one you want, pick your poison, as they say. But until next time, I'm Andrew for Wesley. Thank you so much for listening to the Movie Minutemen podcast. Goodbye. I'm going to do that ending one more time because I stuttered terribly.
Okay.
Also, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Helps immensely. But until next time, I'm Andrew for Wesley. Thank you so much for listening to the Movie Minutemen podcast. Goodbye.